The atmosphere of a bustling railway station is usually defined by the frantic rush of people chasing schedules. But for one man, time stood still in a cycle of desperation. He was a shadow among the crowds, a beggar who had spent years mastering the art of asking for a few coins to survive. Every day was the same. He would stretch out his hand, eyes fixed on the shoes of passing travelers, hoping for a moment of pity. He lived on the crumbs of others' success, never imagining that his entire existence was built on a fundamental misunderstanding of how the world actually works. His greatness, or lack thereof, was being dictated by a mindset that saw him as small, incapable, and entirely dependent on the whims of strangers. It is a timeless truth that a person's greatness is determined by their thoughts, a principle proven by icons like Steve Jobs and Jeff Bezos. Yet for this man, the potential for greatness was buried under layers of poverty and low self-esteem. Then came a day that would shatter his reality. Among the sea of passengers, he spotted a man who radiated power. He was a businessman, dressed in an expensive suit, his posture confident as he stepped onto the platform. To the beggar, this man looked like a gold mine. He moved forward, his hand extended, certain that a man this wealthy would offer a generous amount of money. But what happened next was not the clink of a coin. It was a question that hit like a physical blow. The businessman looked him directly in the eyes and asked if he had ever given anything to anyone else. The beggar was paralyzed. He had been asked for many things: to move, to leave, to be quiet, but never had someone asked him to be a giver. Confused and startled, he replied that he was just a beggar with nothing to offer. The businessman didn't look away. He smiled and delivered a cold, hard fact of life. He told the beggar that if he believed he had nothing to give, he also had no right to ask for anything. He explained that as a businessman, he believed in the law of exchange. If the beggar could offer something of value, the businessman would give something in return. But without an exchange, there could be no transaction. And with that, the man boarded his train and disappeared. The beggar stood on that platform, stunned into a silence he had never known. The words kept replaying in his mind like a haunting melody. The man hadn't been rude, but he had spoken a truth that the beggar couldn't ignore. For the first time, he realized why his pockets were always nearly empty. It wasn't just bad luck. It was because he offered the world nothing in return for the money he craved. That night, sleep wouldn't come. He lay awake, gripped by a crisis of identity. The businessman's philosophy echoed through the darkness. If you want to receive, you must first give. But what could a man with no home, no money, and no resources possibly give? He was trapped in the belief that he was just a beggar, a role he had played so well that he had forgotten he was human. For 2 days, he didn't ask for a single penny. He was too consumed by the weight of his own emptiness. He sat by the tracks, watching the world move, searching for a way out of the mental prison he had built for himself. Then, on the third day, his eyes caught something he had ignored 1,000 times before. Near the tracks, amidst the grime and the steel, a patch of wildflowers was blooming. Their colors were vibrant, a sharp contrast to the gray world he inhabited. A sudden, sharp idea struck him. It was a spark of the alchemy of purpose. What if he stopped taking and started trading? What if every time someone gave him alms, he gave them a flower? It was a small gesture, perhaps even a foolish one, but it was a start. He walked over, gently plucked a handful of flowers, and returned to his spot on the platform. The change was immediate and shocking. When the next traveler handed him a coin, the beggar didn't just tuck it away. He smiled and offered a flower. The traveler's reaction was something the beggar had never seen before. Instead of looking away in pity or disgust, the person accepted the flower with a look of genuine joy. Some people even smiled back and thanked him. As the days turned into weeks, an incredible pattern emerged. When he had flowers to give, people gave him money far more generously than they ever had before. But when he ran out of flowers,